everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Women of Ouija.
Ouija, without our hats.
Ouija. We don't have our hats on today because we are talking about a serious topic today, all right? We're putting our writer's caps on. There's no cap.
That's right.
I'll just use my noggin, my head. So we know it's still...
my writer's
We've got
cap.
our Ouija bugs. We both got our Ouija bugs. All right, so... We're both writers. I'm working on my 5th book right now. I've got 4 books out, a short story, and then I'm featured in another book. But this is my 3rd memoir that's coming up called The Buddha Made Me Do It, A Field Guide to Enlightenment. And Karen Dahlman is making a little appearance in the book, and my angel Mirth, and it's got a lot of fun stuff. And we just want to give you some writing tips because we know that a lot of you creative people watch our videos and people want to write, whether it's short stories, poetry, or whole books. And Karen's written several, and she has more to come. And we just wanted to give some tips to you. So, Karen, you give your best tips, and then I'll give my insight.
Yeah, okay. So I think with any creative project, whether it's artwork or writing or poetry or writing music, you need to actually carve out time to do it. So you have to be serious about it. And really to write, since we're talking about writing today, you've got to carve out where you're at least writing 3 to 4 times a week to start. So what I highly recommend is get a journal. It could just be something like this. Here's one of my journals. I have a lot of these. And this is a writing, and it's also a creative journal. I'll do artwork and do a lot of writing in this, as you can see. The idea is that I'm dedicating in this journal to what I'm working on, and it gives me the physical remindrance that I'm working on this, and when it's sitting around, I go, oh yeah, I got to write in that today, and then it makes me write because I got a journal I like, and I have about 5 of these, and each one's for a different project I'm working on, so I'm always working on some kind of creative project, whether it's art or writing or something else, and so carve out that time, number 1. Number 2, get yourself that journal. 3, I highly recommend this too, start recording your dreams, because you'll get a lot of insight. When you start getting serious about writing, you'll get a lot of insight in your dreams to what you're writing about. Because once that starts filling your psyche and your mind all day long, your dreams will continue to work on it. And you might get that idea for a new character in your writing. You might get that idea for the next chapter, or an image you want to write about in your drawing or whatever. You might get a whole song. When I write, I get so much in my dreams. So get that journal for your dreams too. That's my big push, is really carve out the time and do it. Use your journal and write. What about you, Marla?
I love that. I love the journal thing. I have some journals, and I'll write notes. Like if I get an idea or something, I'm out. Like yesterday, I was out to lunch and I had an idea and I wrote it in. But otherwise, I'm just on my. So, for example, some people think, okay, I've got to write this. How can I write a whole book? I've got to get 70,000 words, 80,000 words, whatever. And it's so
right.
So it's so overwhelming. I've been writing my book for 1 year. I started late January, started a year ago, and it's unfolded throughout the whole year. There's no rush. I'm not on contract like I'm not, Danielle Steele or something where, or Stephen King or somebody who's churning out, a couple books a year or something, and you're on contract and you have to do it. I'm a creative person. I'm now self-publishing my books. I had a traditional publisher for 3 of them, but I've gotten my rights back, and I'm enjoying self-publishing now because I have control. I can do some other creative projects with it, and I'm taking my time and making it the best it can be. And so some days I won't. Sometimes I didn't write for 2 weeks. I had a bad cold, or I was traveling, or I just was too overwhelmed with my other work, and then I thought, well, that's okay, just get back to it. And you will be surprised when you consistently just get back on it, these add up. And all of a sudden you've got 1 chapter, 2 chapters, and now I'm going to be writing my final chapter, 20th chapter in my new book. And then, of course, get a good editor. You don't just write something and then, unless you're, Hemingway or something. But most people don't just write their books and then, upload it to Amazon or whatever, because it's going to be, you want people to read it, make sure for typos. Have it reread and reread and reread. Have a good editor, and really get a great cover. You want to get a good cover artist, and these things will cost some money, so realize that, but it's worth it, because this is your calling card, this is your soul, your heart that you've put into this work, and you want it to be the best you can be. You really want to be proud of it and love it, and something that you can share.
I think you really hit on something important. You said consistent. Be consistent with it. Although you might have missed those 2 weeks at a time, when you picked it back up, you were consistent with it again.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to, when you write, you don't have to write it chapter by chapter. In fact, I don't. I start with my overall concepts that I want to cover in the topic of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, the title of the book doesn't come to me, so I'm totally done with my writing because you never know which direction it's going to go. I have a general theme I'm working with. For example, my last book was about alchemy, but I didn't know the title until the book was 100% finished. And after I wrote the intro to it, I knew the title. But it took a while. But I don't write it chapter by chapter. I write it by sections. So you might have one section that you want to write about and another section, and those two might marry and become a chapter together, or they may end up in different chapters themselves. So don't worry about having it organized when you first start writing.
Well,
just write.
Unless it's
right,
a novel,
right.
A novel or a story that has
different, a story, yeah. Now you're talking more fiction and stuff. But if you're, and your memoirs too, you do that. I write about topics where I do a lot of research, and it's some experience and research, and so mine kind of go all over, and then I pull them together, and then they'll become unified. It'll work out. Just have not necessarily a system, but try to create your own system that's going to work for you. It's not like there's one way to do it.
Right.
You might even start with an outline if that helps.
And outline's always good, and knowing where you're going in the end and all of that. And the title, that's true. The title is so difficult to come up with a good title. And I Google titles to make sure, the idea of the topic, because I want to make sure there's not too many with the same title or what, so Google it and just think about it, and it could come to you in a dream, in a meditation. It could, even the board, I ask, is this a good title? You could ask your angels or spirits on the board. And I did come up with I think a great title, but it can take a while, like Karen said, even till the end. And even my cover, I had like 4 versions of the cover, and I was having people vote on Facebook just with font color, and I was driving myself insane, like which one, which color, which is better. And I thought, you know what, wait a minute, why am I even asking anyone? This is my book. If I ask 100 people, there'll be, there could be 100 different answers. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If you're going to be self-publishing and creating something, make sure you like it. Write the book and do the book for yourself, because there's always going to be people who don't like it or said you should have changed this. The cover's too busy. It's not the right cover. So you can't listen to the noise. You just got to really, maybe ask some trusted friends, but you've got to, in the end, follow your heart and what makes you happy, and then you share your gift and your creativity with the world.
Yeah, and you feel better about your gift and your creativity if you rely on that when you're doing it. It's funny you say that about the title. You can ask the board. I did, and we wrote that last book together through the board. We wrote a lot of it together, and also through channeled messages in my dreams. But they helped me come up with the title. They came up with part of it, and I came up with the rest. They always wanted to be a unified vision together, which is nice. But yeah, so once you feel good about your book yourself and what you pick for your cover, your intro, even if you have, like people say, write blurbs for you on your book, once you feel good about that finished product, you are the one that has to go market it, so you do want to feel good about it.
That's right. And writing the book is only a small that's the easy part, because then you've got to sell it, market it, and all of that good stuff. And I would say people always made the mistake to think I'm rolling in the dough, I'm rich because I've got some books written, and it's very hard to sell books. I mean, I don't want to make that as a negative affirmation, but look, how many millions of books come out I think maybe 3 or 4 million books are published every year now, with people the capability of uploading them and things like that. So, and not that many people read, and women read most of the books. So just knowing that it's like acting. I mean, only a small percentage of actors really make a living at it. So you want to do it for the right reasons, not to think it's a get rich quick scheme or you're going to make a bunch of money. You do it to share your gift, maybe to help your business. If you have a certain kind of business and you want to write a book about it, it's a great calling card. It's great to be able to get on radio shows, on TV shows. It's establishes you as an expert. So for those reasons, but if you have the idea that you're just going to become, the next J.K. Rowling after one book, you could be. I hope so. Maybe
right, you could be.
But you could be. But I say do it for the love of it and for the fun of it. And then that energy will follow it and find the right audience.
That's right. Do it for you.
Yeah, that's right. And I do it
happy
for me.
Writing,
and you guys. All right. Happy writing. If you have any questions, leave them below. Oh, also people will sometimes email me and ask me if they could take me to have a cup of coffee so they can pick my brain about how to write their book or stuff. And I don't have time, but I tell them, listen, you can Google any subject on book writing, on marketing, on anything, and there's a lot of great books on Amazon about everything about publishing. So that could give you so much more info than I could. And so go investigate. Everything's on Google, and that's what I just. Unless you want to pay me to sit down and coach you on it, but I don't have time, you guys. I'm writing my books. See, I'm writing my books. That's why I'm putting all my extra time. I'm bundling it in. All right. Peace and love, you guys. Bye.
Write that book.